Hello, welcome. In this video, I'm going to help you get started with Program 2. So if you go into the modules, Program 2 is part of Module 2 assignments. So for this program, you're going to want to name your source code last name underscore prog2.c. So first, let's take a look at the instructions. This is a simple interactive program. We're going to take a look at the output so we understand. You're going to ask the user to enter their first initial and get the first initial. You can assume that the user will enter a letter. It doesn't really matter. You're going to assume you get the right input. You're going to ask the user how many gallons of gas they need. We're going to use an integer for this. This is just an exercise we want to practice. We want to practice with a character, with an integer, and with a double. So you're going to ask them to enter their initial, get the initial, ask them how many gallons, get the number of gallons, ask them the price per gallon, get the price per gallon, make the calculation, and print the result onto the screen. So you're just practicing with printf, scanf, a simple calculation, which is just a multiplication, and then printing the results back onto the screen. So I'm going to use Visual Studio to do this, so I need to include these preprocessor directives. But what I did for you is I gave you sample code to help you get started, which I'm going to download. I'm going to open this sample code with Notepad. So what I've gone ahead and done is set it so that all .c files do not automatically launch Visual Studio. The problem is when .c files automatically launch in Visual Studio, it does not give you a project. It will not launch a valid project. You cannot launch Visual Studio with a .c file and get a valid project. You need to create an empty project and copy and paste your code into it. So if I show all here and show in folder, I'm just going to make sure that I'm opening my source code with Notepad. So this is just the source code to help you get started. So I'm going to launch Visual Studio. I'm going to create a new project. This new project will be an empty project. I'm going to place this project in the location I want to place it. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. I'm going to name the project Program 2 Spring, not Sprung, Spring 2021, and I'm going to check this because I don't really need a directory within a directory. This right here is just the directory. Click Create. This is going to create the directory. So if I go here onto my desktop, I can see that I have this Program 2 Spring 2021 project directory created. Then I'm just going to say project, add new item, and the name of the source code is going to be sorgente underscore prog2.c. So you're going to put your last name, then an underscore, and then prog2 to indicate it's Program 2. Make sure that you're selecting a CPP, but you're going to name it with a .c extension because this is a C course. And then I'm going to add it. The next step is to copy and paste the code skeleton that I gave you on Canvas into my project. So the code skeleton I gave you on Canvas here has all of the information of what you need to help get started on your program. Then you need to declare your variables. So we will have one character for the initial, one integer for the number of gallons, and one double for the price per gallon. You can name these variables whatever you want, and you can do your own kind of personality with your interaction with the user. Again, as I've told you throughout the semester, on the top you need to add your name, date, and a brief description of the project. Then these two preprocessor directives are not required for programming, but they are required if you're using Visual Studio. So they are included in all the samples that I provide because I'm choosing to do all of my samples in Visual Studio. This you absolutely need because it's for printf and scanf. It is the standard input-output library, so you can read from the keyboard and write to the screen. And then I'm just getting you started here by declaring the variables. So then you need to use printf, and so we'll just get the initial printf. Enter your initial, and then scanf. Because we're using a character, you put a space here. You only put the space here for characters. Do not put the space there for doubles and integers. %C initial. So this is going to ask the user to enter their initial, and then it's going to scan an initial in from the keyboard. Then you need to ask for the number of gallons and scan in the number of gallons. Then you need to ask for the price per gallon, scan in the price per gallon, calculate the total, and print the initial and the total onto the screen. So I'm going to just test and see if my program compiles. And so it's asking for the initial, and then it ends because I haven't completed it. So while you're working on this, be sure to do one thing at a time and test it before you move on to the next thing. And if you need any help, please reach out, send me an email, and be sure to attach a current version of your code and ask a specific question in your email. You can also get help by sending an email to the TAs.